Jacob Warren. We love him. Jacob Warren, former Vol, nice enough to join us. Jacob, how are you, sir?
Fantastic, man. I can't complain. I'm excited to see you guys' faces after a bye week. It was weird not having any ball, man, but it was cool kind of watching around the league and seeing what everybody got into. So it was good.
Yeah, and yesterday was National Tight Ends Day, so I wanted to get your thoughts on that. Are you more of a tight end or boob guy?
I'll play the fifth on that one, I think.
Okay. Well, happy National Tight Ends Day. I think they put out a clip of you maybe running into the end zone at one point. What was it about, before we dive into some Tennessee topics, what was it about tight end that you most liked about playing the position?
I don't know. I thought it was really cool because, at least on our team and a lot of the teams that I've been on in the past, tight ends seem to be just this group of guys that they're so versatile, right, in their skill set and their abilities and everything like that. But also, truly, I think get along some of the best with everybody on the team. It seems like everybody liked the tight ends. Nobody had any problems with the tight ends. Like it seems like everybody got along with us, and we got along with pretty much everybody, right? We're going against DBs all the time, so you're building good relationships in one-on-ones and stuff like that. But also, you're kind of having scraps with them, and then you going against the D linemen all the time, so you build relationships with them, but you're also kind of going to battle with them, right? So I think you get the chance to interact with everybody on the team: quarterback, wide receiver, offensive line, running backs. Like, I truly feel like you kind of get the best of every single dynamic on the team, and so that's why I enjoyed it. I enjoyed just kind of what it meant, and people kind of just gravitated towards us, and we were also a tight knit group, so it worked out. So,
yep, you guys were team favorites. That's a good point. Jacob's appearance brought to you by Peak IV Hydration, South Knoxville and Sevierville. You can also order the patch online if you're not close to one of those locations. And Jacob, what can you tell us about Peak IV Hydration?
Yeah, it's the same thing every week, guys. We believe in this, and we think this can be very helpful for you in your daily life, whether you're an athlete or not an athlete. I think good hydration and being at the best of your physical ability is super important to be able to perform well in your job, or if you are active and you do some sort of CrossFit or workouts or you run or just whatever it is. I think this is an opportunity to be at your best, feel at your best, and to perform your best. And I definitely think it's worth clicking the link and checking them out.
Perfect. Caleb?
Jacob, before I dive in, I just have to, how often in your life have you heard the tight ends jokes? Just how common are they in the football world?
At least twice every time there's a tight ends day, I'll say I hear it. So that's probably the third time I've heard it. So it's okay. But no, I mean, it's funny. Part of it.
So, Jacob, let's talk a little bit about, you guys, Josh Heupel has a pretty good track record coming off a bye. Arkansas notwithstanding this year. But could you talk a little bit about what the success is from you guys coming off a bye? Do you guys actually spend extra time working on your next opponent, or is it more just about getting healthy, getting right mentally, kind of clearing your mind, I guess, Zen-like approach to things?
So there's a lot of mental work that goes into a bye week, right? And I think there's for sure a lot of physical work, and any coach will tell you this. You definitely have to go early on in that week and get some good work in, just because you can't go a week without hitting somebody, without working your hand strikes or your hand placement or your footwork. You can't go a full week without all those fundamentals that help you get through a season, help you get through a game, all these other things. So there's for sure a lot of a lot of physical work that goes into it. But for me, always, man, bye weeks were a time to just reset mentally, as far as truly just how stressful and how busy and how go, the season is and how it gets, especially with, the playoff contention and all this other stuff. There's just a lot of pressure and just a lot of stress around this environment right now. So bye week just allows guys to kind of step away for a little bit and relax their mind, but also allows you to, go into that game next week thinking, man, like, I feel like I've already seen this 30 times already. And you probably have, right? And I think that's an advantage coming off a bye week, that people talk about, how big of a deal it is when guys come off bye weeks and play Tennessee, right? Everybody's, oh, well, they've been preparing for 2 weeks. Like, that's that's real, right? And so it's nice to have one of those weeks and be able to be the team that's feels more prepared, or almost like you've seen this stuff in your sleep.
A couple of things that I think are just natural benefits of the bye week, no matter who's coming up or what's happened, is you get healthier. And we were pretty critical of Lance Hurd at times for his struggles. And I almost look back and maybe I was unfair with him because he was just coming off of an injury, and an ankle sprain with a big guy is a big deal. How much more mobile and comfortable do you think he can be with an off week of healing?
Yeah, and that's another huge aspect of all this is you never know, right? I think I appreciate that, we're mentioning it, right? But you never know what a guy's going through. You never know how he feels physically, right? There could be an extreme amount of physical toughness that he's displaying that nobody gets. They just see it as he's slow off the line, or it is what it, this or that or whatever. But especially for those big guys, man, like they're 320, 330, over 300 pounds. And you're putting a lot of force on that ankle, asking that ankle to do a lot of stuff, especially in the kick slides and redirections and weight bearing whenever you're loading. You get a bull rush or something like that's a big ask. And so I think, for sure, having a big week like this to be able to just rest, recover, get treatment. The training staff at Tennessee is phenomenal as far as, recovery, making things feel better, and just getting you back out on the field as quickly as possible. So a guy like Lance, I think 100% will come out hopefully looking better, feeling like, okay, I'm ready to kind of gear up and display that physical toughness that I was talking about earlier.
Is it dangerous where, while I know you want to get, use the bye week to get mentally right, to maybe kind of, fix some things and clear out some mental blocks and things like that, is it dangerous where, to a point that you can get a little complacent because of the off week, and then you maybe let things kind of slip away if you're not careful?
Yeah, you can't let things slip through the cracks, right? I was hanging out with some of my guys this weekend, and they were outside running the hill, outside the house we were staying at, just because they know it's important. They know you have to continue to be a football player while kind of enjoying your time off. And I know you're not necessarily talking about conditioning, but just, that's a perfect example, right? Whether you're taking a break, going up to the mountains, or going to a family's house or something, like making sure you're taking your playbook and you're studying your installs, you're running a little bit. I think that's how you avoid that situation of complacency, is just understanding how important and how urgent it really is. It's not like you have that long, right? You don't have a huge break, so you can't really relax too much. But for sure, I think the complacency piece is big, and I see people lose a lot of games that way.
Okay, let me ask you this, Jacob. Can you better prepare yourself for the different defensive look that Tennessee's gotten with that 3-3-5 or 3-3-6 in an off week? How much can you address something like that if Tennessee gets that thrown at them at some point the remainder of the season?
I mean, you got to believe it will happen, right? You have to, just because we've seen a lot of people kind of get in and out of it, whatever it is. For sure, some teams have their ways, right? They're set in their ways, and they're going to say, we're going to run this 4 down regardless of who you are. We think you could stop you. But there's some teams that resort to some of these different defenses that we're seeing that have success sometimes. They're kind of weak in other areas. I think not only having a bye week, but also just seeing it more frequently, seeing it with different structures, seeing it with different players, I think allows a guy like Nico to feel like he has a better understanding of what's actually going on and what he's actually getting. Our coaches have obviously been coaching against it for a while, so I think it's just trying to find nuance within it, because you see, obviously, a defense is installing this or is running this because they see some sort of whatever with our offense, and so I think being able, like I said, to find nuance, to find different ways to run the same plays, to attack different spots in the zone, or attack different spots of the offensive line, or IDing protections a certain way because we got beat on it last week. I think those are all things you just grow from and you learn from. And 100% a bye week allows the guys to go back and just look at every snap of this defense, whatever, and prepare for whatever they could get.
So Jacob, could we, speaking of the bye, with the 3-3-5, how much does it help preparing? Is it easier if you're preparing for a team that actually sometimes runs that defense, as opposed to when Arkansas just throws it at you and you hadn't seen that at all in practice?
Obviously, that's that's the worst, right? And that's worst case scenario is you're preparing for one thing all week, especially for a bye week. You're preparing for something for 2 weeks where it's like, okay, like I just mentioned, you feel like you know it like the back of your hand, right? And then you get out, they change things up. But obviously, that's again part of good coaching is just saying, hey guys, this is something we could get. Let's go ahead and prepare. Maybe 2 out of the 8 plays in this run set are going to be this look, and we're going to make sure that we're prepared to run this against this look. Like that's kind of just how it goes, and you never actually know what's going to happen until Saturday gets there. But for sure, I think the attention to detail and the preparation on that regard will not be lacking at all.
Let me ask you this with John Campbell Jr. We talked about Hurd on one tackle position, but John Campbell Jr. has what I believe has been reported as a bursa sack issue, and that it could crop up in the middle of games. One of the things that has been suggested to me by somebody that played on the offensive line is maybe playing Dane Davis to spell either Hurd or Campbell so that they're fresh at the end of the game. Now, I'm old, Jacob. In 25 years, I don't ever recall that happening. Now, you rotate on the defensive line all the time, but usually your 5 or your 5. Yeah. How much could and I think they did a little bit of that 2 Saturdays ago, but how much of that could help Tennessee if Dane Davis is able to go in there, take some second or third quarter snaps and have one or both of those guys be fresh in the fourth quarter?
Yeah, I think that's the whole reason why you have a guy like Dane Davis. You have guys like that to back up the offensive line, just because like Dane hasn't started a whole lot of games, but he's every single time it seems like he comes in, obviously just like every other offensive lineman, he gets beat sometimes, just like every other tight end, he gets beat sometimes, but he comes in and he offers you somebody that's versatile, right? I've seen him play guard, I've seen him play center, I've seen him play right tackle, left tackle, and the guy truly just cares about the team, and he cares about Tennessee as a school and as a brand and everything like that. So that guy plays with an immense amount of pride that truly like will help this team. And I think if that's the way that it is, that's the way it is. But I mean, you see him get in there against Alabama and from what I could tell, really held it down, right? Really had a pretty good game and helped that offensive line kind of find its stride, helped Nico find his stride late in that game. And, you can't argue with that, right? Obviously, if it's not a big name starter guy, whatever, but if he can come in and can continue to produce and continue to protect our guy back there, and then 100%, I think he should. That's a great weapon, and that's great for him to be in there to kind of give those guys a little bit of a breather, if that's what it is, or maybe if a knee or something or an ankle is just feeling not right, maybe give him some time to kind of get it back. But I for sure think you got a good option in Dane Davis.
All right, good stuff. I don't know what is Holta. One said he ordered 3 of the patches to try them out. We greatly appreciate that. Support our sponsors. That's why we're here. We don't ask for super chats. If you do want to throw in a super chat, it goes to Quincy Calhoun, Caleb's 4-month-old son's college fund. And Caleb, even though he's a gambling degenerate, has promised not to gamble that away, Jacob.
Please don't. Call the hotline. Somebody put the hotline in the chat. Put the hotline in the chat.
What is it called? The red line or something?
I don't know.
No, Jacob's never needed that number. Nope. Caleb hasn't either. I'm just joking. If you want to throw in to the super chat, you're welcome, but we don't go about begging and asking for that. But again,
I'm just trying to turn that money to even more so he can even have more money for college.
Yes, that's what you want.
Listen, the most you can ever lose is 100%. You can win a whole lot more than 100%, though. I'll tell you that. So that's all I'll say. Like,
exactly.
You can win a whole lot more 100%.
It's true. All right. So tell us again about Peak IV hydration. Somebody ordered the patch. I didn't use the hydration patch, but I used the energy patch, and I felt great that day. And I'm planning on stopping by and getting more.
Yeah, I actually was just up in Gatlinburg this weekend. I went to Dollywood. It was pretty hot all day. Like something truly I wish I had. I literally thought about it. I was like, wow, I wish I had one of those patches right now. I just didn't have any. But just stuff like that, man. If anytime you're just out, if you're going to be outside all day or just walking around all day, it's good to kind of keep those handy. And truly, like I've used them personally in my life. I know Dave says he used energy patches. I prefer just a coffee, but that's neither here nor there. But yeah, I love the hydration patches. I truly think they keep me going and supply the vitamins and the minerals and just all the things that you would be getting from He actually put the chat. He actually put the number in the chat. But no, truly, peak heavy hydration. That's awesome to see that somebody's gotten a couple of their patches. But I encourage everybody to go try them out. They're fantastic.
All right, be good. You know, you're the man. And the one patch that they need, you talk about going to, I'm a big amusement park guy. So we've done we've done every amusement park on the East Coast that you can imagine, basically. We took a vacation to Ohio, for the love of goodness, to go to Kings Island.
Kings Island, yeah.
Yeah, but you know what?
Cedar Point?
In Cedar Point, yeah.
Yeah.
But you know what you need? What they need, I'm going to suggest this to our buddies down at Peak IV Hydration. They need the kids' knockout patch for the drive there. So, you know, save on the Benadryl, give them a knockout patch. They sleep in the car, and then they're ready to go. So,
yeah, CPS will love that.
Yeah, Caleb will experience that sooner than Jacob, but you guys will know exactly what I'm talking about.
I'm sure. I can imagine.
Jacob, have a blessed day, man. We love you. I'll be in touch.
Yeah, see y'all later.